Maggie here from Witch and Moon channel, the Witch and Moon channel. I apologize for being so late to the game. I just finally got around to uploading a video and I'm really excited to share this with you guys. The book that I'm going to be talking about today is A Witch Alone by Marion Green. So I got this book. This is kind of a beginner book. It is like a Witchcraft 101 book, if you will. And I got it just a couple years ago. I wish it had been one of the first books that I ever purchased and read for my practice. But even so, just reading it, that recently, it was still a really big inspiration to me. The book is split up into 13 different chapters, and the writer, Marion Green, encourages you to do one chapter per moon phase. And I think that's a really nice idea. It kind of gives the reader, time to sort of, what they think about the chapter and do their own research. And that's another thing that I really love about this book is that she puts a lot of resources at the end of each chapter of other books for you to explore. This book was published in 1991, so a lot of the books that she references are older. And I feel like because it was published then, it's not as diluted as some of the newer witchcraft books can be, just because there's so much information out there now. This is really a down-to-earth view of witchcraft and what it means to be a witch. It does focus on being a solitary practitioner, which I think is really nice, because I think a lot of people starting out, they are kind of going on this journey on their own. But reading this book, it really makes you feel like you're connecting to another person. She very much encourages you to explore nature. It's very nature-based, and it's a lot about natural magic. There's not really any spells or anything like that. There's not really any rituals. But she is able to paint these really beautiful pictures of what it is to be a witch and what it is to celebrate different Sabbaths and full moon rituals, and how that might look to you or how that might look to someone else. And to me, just having those types of ideas and being able to, build your own practice kind of from the ground up, I think it's really refreshing. I think it's not something that you see. Most books that you pick up are just full of rituals and spells that are very impersonal, and this book really encourages you to, do the exploring yourself, like put in the work yourself. And I really love that about it. Now it doesn't talk about Wicca specifically, but she does talk about the god and goddess archetypes, which I think is very Wiccan based. She also has a Will of the Year story in there, but she never really mentions the Wiccan Rede. She does talk about, how there are so many different types of practices within witchcraft, and a little bit about how they differ. But it's pretty, she keeps it very generic and very open to kind of marrying whatever beliefs that resonate with you into what the work that she's talking about. There are a couple of chapters that are relating to meditation, and one thing that she really focuses on in this book is being able to build that meditation practice, because it is such a necessary part of practicing witchcraft, being able to get into that mind state and that trance state. And she really encourages the reader to build that practice on their own. She does give some guided meditations, or a guided meditation as well, and kind of explains how to do so. She also encourages the reader to go out and explore the folklore or history in their surrounding area. So, if you live in Europe, you can go to the sacred circles that are out there. If you live in the States, you can visit, you can explore Native American folklore or Appalachian folklore, and just kind of see what it's like, the myths and legends that exist in the area that you live. She very much wants you to go out and explore the land itself and just be in nature and be a part of nature, to observe the cycle of the year and, become very in tune with what it is that's happening every single year. Further into the book, she does go into different types of divination methods. She doesn't really, it's not a how-to. She just kind of tells you, you know, you can do this. Many people do this. She talks about runes. She talks about scrying. She really just kind of gives you information and then allows you to explore that information on your own, which is definitely something that I've always really enjoyed. Because I personally, I don't like to do rituals and things that are right out of books. Like, I want to do my own research and create my own way of doing something. So I think that's why this book has always really spoke to me in that way. She has a really beautiful way of talking about the moon cycles and the solar cycles. Some of her writing is very descriptive and really elegant, and really puts you in the mood that you should be in whenever you're, you know, thinking about doing a ritual or something like that. Towards the end of the book, the next to the last chapter is the next to the last chapter is a dedication ritual that you would perform yourself. Again, like I said, she doesn't really have like an outlined ritual. It's just about, you know, what you could do, the things that you could do, what others have done in the past. It just gives you really great ideas on how to do things like that. The last chapter is very interesting to me because it doesn't really have anything to do with the rest of the book. She basically goes over and stresses the importance of doing your own research and finding out new things and taking from, you know, many different sources to aid in your practice. She talks about how, you know, she's seen people who have done rituals for years and they've only learned out of, you know, 1 or 2 books what 1 or 2 people have said. And she said that, you know, if that is something that you do, you're really missing a big experience, a big part of what being a witch is. And I think that's really lovely. She talks about Carl Jung and the archetypes a little bit, and at the very end she gives you another reading list of some really great books that you can pick up to read. Overall, I would say this is a really solid book, especially if you're starting out. Like I said, I wish this was the first book that I had ever read. And I hope you guys enjoyed this. It's A Witch Alone by Marion Green. You know, I don't know if it's in print anymore. I got mine used. That's why it kind of looks old. But I think you can find it for fairly cheap on Amazon or thrift books. But I hope you guys enjoy this, and I'll be talking to you later. Bye.